Good morning. Morning Musings by Melinda. How are you? You know, in some religions, there's a belief system that once you die, you stay dormant or stay in the ground until Judgment Day, and that there's no afterlife after life. But I know that's not true because I've been doing this work for a long time, and the accuracy is there. And it must be a hard way to believe. It's maybe based in a lot of fear and other things. I think, you know, we have fear of hell. And I don't know, you guys, don't you think the earth is hell right now? Between everything that's happening with the virus and the nonsense between people, the judgment, the divisiveness, and the weather, and oh my gosh, we could go on and on and on. But because of what I do, I know that the signs and signals from heaven are real. And I hope that you know when your loved one is on the other side and they're giving you a sign that it's a reassurance to you that they are fine and doing well. There are some standard signs that are used from the other side, and we know them to be hummingbirds and dragonflies and butterflies and birds, little wings and cardinals. My mother uses doves, so birds are easy for spirit to use, and feathers, and coins and pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters, depending on. And if you pick up a coin and it's randomly set somewhere, you might look at the date on it because the date might have significance. One time I found a penny in my refrigerator because that's the sign that my father used, and he's been gone for over 30 years. But people come to me and they're disappointed because sometimes the signs that they give don't feel like they're enough. And grief can be an energy that gets in the way, and so can old things that are planted in the subconscious mind about Judgment Day and, you know, the afterlife. And I do agree that there are people in my business that have no business being in my business because they do what I call Fruit Loops and wind chimes and can hurt people. And so I do recognize that there is a quote in the Bible about that. But then there are other things that the Bible teaches us, that there are people that can make a connection in a real way, in an honest way, in an integrous way that lets you know that your loved one is safe and sound. And when people have lost children, sometimes it is the most reassuring thing that can happen, is to find out that someone can get information that only that person knows. Just a day or so ago, I had a lovely post from someone whose young husband passed and left her with 4 children. And he was amazing, the things that he told me. There's no way that I could know any of that without him saying so. So, you know, it's an interesting concept, too, that people have so much judgment on it and that they don't really understand. You know, there's people that report near-death experiences all the time, and they talk about the joy and the bliss of it and the movement of energy when they leave their body, and it feels wonderful, and they don't really want to return. Now, I don't know why we're so afraid of dying, and we get into our own way with our egos with all of this, and again, into such complete judgment. So I hope that you are getting signs and signals from your loved ones on the other side. Another way that they taught you is through numbers. Sometimes you'll see a consistent number, 444, 1111. Sometimes you'll see them in your dreams, and sometimes you'll see them in music, or a certain song will come up. These are all the ways that our loved ones really lets us know that not only is this fake life here on the earth plane, which is what Shakespeare said, that the life is a stage and we're all actors upon it, but that real life is on the other side. You know, there are ways that we have a karmic profile. I teach that a lot, and trying to understand how our soul is learning here in Earth School and what that means. And we're having quite a lesson right now with all of the coronavirus and everything that is going on. So I hope that you move your belief system into a place of opening up for signs and signals and not letting your grief anchor you. No one from the other side wants you to be unhappy and waiting in grief and not having joy or love in your life. That's not what they want from the other side. The other side is blissful and joyful and filled with light and love. And that's the best wishes that they can give to us. That's their prayer for us from the other side to hear. So we have to recognize that we can get weighted down by our own religious belief systems that are built in fear, and we can get weighted down in ways that we don't recognize. Now, for those of you who have a strong Christian belief system, please don't get me wrong. I do believe in Jesus very wholeheartedly and am Christian myself, but I also believe that there's more than meets the eye on what happens here between heaven and earth, and between God and human beings, and between Jesus and human beings. And I also believe there are other avatars that have presented us with information that we have to embrace, such as Buddha and, people who are recognized as teachers and prophets. So I hope that you all will look for your connection to the other side and your loved ones. And tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, that we are going to do a little bit of a guided meditation. And I'm going to do that a little later than I normally do. I'm going to do that right around 9, maybe a little bit after 9, okay? So look for that to do a guided meditation, and I hope that you don't mix up your ego with your spirit, because your spirit longs to be embraced with light and love and texture and color and things that make us real and vibrant and passionate and filled with that kind of essence from the other side, and that you are not bogged down by situations that were taught maybe inappropriately in life. Have a happy day.